Hello everyone, as always, unchangingly, I'm Vlad Sparastoria and I know things about shooting. You don't always see hunting weapons on my channel. It's rare for me to show hunting weapons also because first, I'm not a hunter, and second, often these commercially produced weapons sometimes have less history to tell compared to military weapons, or at least that's how I see it. However, a historically significant hunting weapon in Italy, like the Beretta A300, definitely needed to be included on the channel. The Beretta A300 was one of the first semi-automatics to be marketed in Italy. It wasn't the very first ever, and it wasn't even Beretta's very first for that matter. First, we remember the Francimolone, but aside from that, especially in the 1960s, there were few semi-automatics in Italy. The famous Benelli shotguns would come a bit later because Benelli really started selling in '69. But at the beginning of the 1960s, Beretta had already made a first model of semi-automatic. It had some flaws. By correcting these flaws, in '68 in particular, the first version of the A300 came out, and it was a huge success, the A300. Compared to the competition, let's say the Francimolone and the Auto 5, because there really wasn't anything else widespread at that time, it was much lighter, and despite its lightness, it had a softer recoil than the Auto 5, which is notoriously known for having quite a strong recoil. Most importantly, it was affordable. And an important name like Beretta, something absolutely not to be underestimated. It spread rapidly. It was an extremely popular weapon, which was not only used by many people, but is still used today. It's made from scratch in various forms, but it gave a boost to the hunting market because it was precisely with the Beretta A300, I would dare to say, that the Italian hunting market became convinced of the reliability of the semi-automatic system, and it's no coincidence that many other models were born starting from 1968. Or Benelli itself, very few. The 300 holds a key record in Italy. Like every hunting weapon, it has these light lines because you have to carry it all day, and this one you really can carry all day long. You know what I'm telling you? Let's maybe fire a couple of shots. We fire a couple of shots and then we go take it apart. So we can show you how its details work to help you appreciate how it functions a bit better. We load 3 rounds as we would when hunting with a smoothbore. 1 in the chamber, 2 in the magazine. Let's see. Because the first one doesn't fire. All right, we need to try something. Sometimes these rounds don't cycle. Did you pick up the last one that was on the ground? Ah, that was the defective one. Okay, let's check this one too. No. Yes, the weapon works. Let's see how it works and take a closer look at the A300. As you can see, this is nice and well used. It's clearly been used. It's a basic model, but of course there are much higher end models when it comes to finishes. What we have here is a gas-operated semi-automatic rifle. As we'll see, you'll see the gas system. Let's begin our tour with the weapons markings. Of course, we have Pietro Beretta under the weapon. Next to the elevator, we have all the necessary proof marks, while on the left side of the weapon, there is more information. First Italian arms factory, Pietro Beretta, Gardone, Valtrompia. We know that this is an A300 model in 12 gauge. If there was any doubt, of course, it was made in Italy. And here, as you can see, we have the information about the type of steel the barrel is made of. With a semi-pistol grip that's very useful for helping with instinctive shooting, but above all, it also helps to push the weapon into your shoulder to help absorb the recoil. As we'll see, the weapon actually has relatively strong recoil for the simple reason that it's very light. It's a weapon you have to carry around all day, and it's good for this type of weapon to be light. Also, if you fire 2 or 3 shots, there's a bit more recoil, but you have to carry it all day, so we all agree on that. On this side, we obviously have the handle that controls the opening and closing of the bolt. It's a bit of a stiff handle, especially when the system is closing, but as you can see, we can open and close the bolt this way. When there are no rounds, The weapon goes into this hold open, a hold open that we control with this button, which we also use to unlock the elevator for loading. In theory, we can put a round inside the chamber, load it this way, and then by holding down this button, insert 2 rounds into the magazine. Tubular. We'll obviously see this during the live fire test. But this weapon holds 2 rounds in the magazine to comply with the very strange Italian gun laws, especially when it comes to hunting. With the smoothbore barrel, apart from the trigger, whose function is pretty obvious, I don't need to explain it to you. We have a safety that you push toward the camera, so from left to right. So you put the safety on so the weapon won't fire. But if you push it from right to left, you have the safety off. It shows us a slight red ring, as you can see. And obviously you can pull the trigger, which is pretty obvious from this point of view. The rest of the weapon is actually bare. Here we have an attachment point for a sling, which you can also rotate. We'll now disassemble the weapon. This large screw is the attachment point used for that purpose. The rib, as you can see, is grooved so that there are no reflections when aiming the weapon, as a test for disassembly. Since the tour of the weapon is over, let's proceed. Let's continue with it. Obviously, we've made sure that the weapon is unloaded. We can turn this big screw. Here we are, remove this cap, and in this way you take off the wood from the weapon, the barrel, and the gas system. As you can see, this is the barrel. Here we see the extension of the barrel with a notch. In fact, this uses a classic bolt that has a swinging locking block, something that many smoothbore weapons do, for the simple reason that it's actually very simple and there's no need for a stronger lock. 12-gauge shells, even though they're powerful in terms of energy, are relatively low in terms of pressure. Wood of the firearm. As you can see, the barrel has other information, such as the fact that it's chambered for 1270, so not for Magnum 1276 ammunition. The barrel has a gas port, as noted when discussing its gas system. By the way, the piston itself, as you can see, has a vent hole to release excess gas. Once the whole system has moved, as you can see, we can remove this part for cleaning, which is very important. At this point, we can also get a better idea of how the system works. As you can see, we have this op rod, we could say this bolt carrier, the gas piston that is pushed here, and obviously we have this long bolt carrier that operates. Obviously, let's remove the bolt from the weapon system to get an even better look at how this works. We move the bolt forward, and then we can pull the charging handle forward, pull the handle. Here we are. Pulling the handle, here we are. The charging handle. From what is properly called the bolt carrier, from the weapons bolt properly called the bolt carrier. As you can see, it has this diagonal groove that raises and lowers the locking block. It also has an extension that goes into the stock of the weapon, where the recoil spring is located, hidden inside the stock. You can see how the bolt has this swinging block, which when the bolt carrier goes all the way forward, pushes this block up so it locks into place. Here, as we've seen in this notch on the barrel, it's a very simple operating system that many semi-automatic smoothbore shotguns don't use. Other than that, there really aren't any surprises of any kind. Here's how to disassemble the firearm for cleaning. Let's reassemble it and try it ourselves. Here I'll show you how the bolt carrier moves, driven by the operating rod, by the charging handle rod, making the locking block oscillate on the bolt. We can go test the firearm. We're at 414 Bruni to test this amazing A300. Let's load a round. Obviously it goes into the chamber, and then you can insert 2 rounds into the magazine. These tubular magazines are limited. If you don't know, Italy has a specific law for hunting with smoothbore guns, allowing only 2 rounds in the magazine. The chambered round doesn't count, so the guns have 3 rounds. Let's try. Of course, I put the safety on myself. Why aren't you shooting? Ah, here we go. What is it? I don't know. Go ahead. It doesn't shoot. I didn't go through them at all. No, sometimes I didn't go through them at all. Let's try again. Let's see. Let's load the ammo. Okay, it cycled it. Let's put it in. Ah, this semi-automatic method. 1 shot at a time, automatic ejection. Let's see. Let's load. Another shot. Damn, how the elevator bites. Ah! I love Allura. First impressions, what can I say? It's very light and very ergonomic. Since it's light, a lot of the energy from the explosion is transferred directly to my shoulder. It's definitely not a weapon you'd want to shoot with all day. I assure you, you feel every shot. I let you know in advance. For those watching, I recorded this video a few hours ago. Let's just say I shot a lot with the 12 gauge and a much heavier weapon. And I feel more tired now after a few shots than after dozens, literally dozens of shots with heavier weapons. Many people, when they talk about the recoil of the weapon, focus on the ammunition, but I would dare to say that's how it is. Focus more on the weapon's weight, or rather the combination of the ammo power and weapon weight. It's light enough to carry all day and then fire 2 or 3 shots at most. Also because carrying it all day starts to get tiring. Ha 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 ha. Shooting with the 12 gauge is always fun. Ha ha ha. What do you think?
Hit because...
It's light because it's light.
And we're not criticizing, no.
We're throwing slag.
Throwing pellets.
Ha 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 ha. Shooting the 12 gauge is surprisingly funny. That will always amuse me. Even if shooting at the sand. Thank you all for watching this video. As always, remember that these videos are literally made by you. You as the owner of the weapon who came here today all the way to Bruni to let me try this amazing hunting rifle. Without the contribution of people like you, this channel literally wouldn't exist. I'm not exaggerating. If you want to help me make this content, consider following the links in the description. They'll take you to my page, subscriptions, or the channel's t-shirts. They help a lot. If you don't want to or can't, please consider liking, commenting, sharing the video, and helping beat the YouTube algorithm, which often discriminates against firearms. They don't like them at all. As usual, I'll see you next time.